Welcome to episode 234 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. Today's episode is dedicated to Jorge. Thank you for the suggestion, buddy, and keep them coming. It's June 22nd, 1986, Mexico City, Estadio Azteca, Argentina against England, World Cup quarterfinal. And in 4 minutes, Diego Maradona gives football one of its deepest contradictions. First, the hand of God, and then the goal of the century. Argentina 2, England 1. One goal illegal, and one goal almost impossible. One player, literally and figuratively, taking the match into his own hands. This is peak Maradona, genius and deceit, beauty and darkness. A poor kid from Villa Fiorito becoming the center of world football, and the center of a rivalry that had already been carrying too much history. But how did we get here? Start with Diego. Maradona had been too young for Argentina's 1978 World Cup, or at least Cesar Luis Menotti decided he was. That omission hurt Maradona deeply. Argentina won the tournament at home without him, under dictatorship, in a country where football and politics were already uncomfortably close. But Diego didn't vanish. In 1979, he led Argentina to the World Youth Championship. In 1981, he joined Boca Juniors and won the Metropolitano title. Then Europe, Barcelona, a world record transfer, brilliance, injury, illness, conflict, and then that famous red card in the 1984 Copa del Rey final. Then Napoli in 1984. That is where Maradona becomes more than a footballer. Naples doesn't receive him as a star signing. Naples receives him as a savior. Poorer South against richer North, margins against power, a city that sees in Diego its own insult and its own revenge. By 1986, he has not yet won the Scudetto with Napoli. That comes in 1987. But he's already carrying the club upward, and he arrives in Mexico as the most influential player on earth. Not the most statistically useful, not merely the most gifted, but the most gravitational. Argentina's football story is built for someone like him. It has always contained beauty and pain. From the British roots of the game in Buenos Aires, to the Rio de la Plata rivalry with Uruguay, to professionalism in 1931, to the artistry of Rivers' La Máquina, to the streetcraft of the Porreos. But it also contains a darker strand, hardness, gamesmanship, anti-football as critics called it. In 1966, England beat Argentina 1-0 at Wembley in a World Cup quarterfinal after Antonio Rachin was sent off. Alf Ramsey called Argentina animals. Argentina felt insulted, cheated, and patronized. Then 1978. Menotti tries to reclaim a beautiful Argentine identity. Left-wing, aesthetic, humanist, football as art. Argentina win the World Cup at home, but under the shadow of the military junta. By 1986, the coach is Carlos Bilardo. Bilardo is different. A doctor, a former Estudiantes player, a man shaped by the brutal, clever, cynical, and effective Estudiantes dynasty of the late 1960s. He doesn't apologize for pragmatism. He builds Argentina around winning and around Maradona. This is the team with Jorge Valdano, Jorge Burruchaga, Oscar Ruggeri, José Luis Brown, Héctor Enrique, Sergio Batista, Julio Olaticochea, and Nero Pompidou. Good players, serious players, but everyone knows the truth. The system is Diego. Now England. England invented the modern game, codified it, exported it, and then spent decades assuming the rest of the world should remain grateful. The relationship with FIFA was troubled for much of the first half-century. They stood apart, withdrew, returned, and didn't enter the World Cup until 1950, where they promptly lost to the United States. Then 1966, Wembley, Hurst, Moore, Charlton, the World Cup coming home before that phrase existed. But after 1966, the story becomes frustration. Lost to West Germany in 1970 after leading 2-0. Failed to qualify in 74 and 78. Returned in 82, but went out unbeaten. In 86, Bobby Robson's England start badly in Mexico. They lose to Portugal, draw with Morocco, then save themselves by beating Poland 3-0 with a Gary Lineker hat-trick. They beat Paraguay 3-0 in the round of 16. Now Argentina. And there is politics. The Falklands War, or Malvinas War, had ended only 4 years earlier. Argentina had invaded the islands in April 1982, Britain had retaken them by June. Hundreds had died. Argentina's military dictatorship collapsed soon after. So when Argentina and England meet in 1986, it is not about the war in a formal sense, but it cannot escape it. For Argentine supporters, the match carries grievance, pride, and memory. For England, it carries suspicion, tension, and the old rivalry's new political skin. Then the match itself, June 22nd, Estadio Azteca, more than 114,000 people. Referee Ali bin Nasser of Tunisia. The first half is tight. England are compact. Argentina have the ball, but not much space. Maradona is kicked, tracked, surrounded, and still always available. It's 0-0 at halftime. Then the second half begins. 51st minute. England drives toward the England box. The ball ricochets. Steve Hodge hooks it awkwardly back towards his own goal. And Maradona keeps running. Peter Shilton comes out. Shilton is 6'1". Maradona is 5'5". The goalkeeper should win. Maradona jumps. His left hand rises. He punches the ball over Shilton and into the net. The referee gives the goal. England protests. Maradona celebrates just enough, or not too much, and after the match says the goal was scored un poco con la cabeza de Maradona y otro poco la mano de Dios, or a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. It is cheating. Brilliant, instinctive, shameless cheating. But it counts. England won, England 0. 4 minutes later, the other Diego appears. Or maybe the same Diego, but with no mask. Maradona receives the ball inside his own half, near the right touchline. Hector Enrique has played the pass, and later Diego jokes that Enrique's pass was so short he gets too much credit for the assist. Maradona turns. Beardsley and Reed are gone. He accelerates. Butcher gone. Fenwick comes. Gone. Butcher comes again. Too late. Shilton comes out. Maradona rounds him. He keeps his balance, and he slides the ball into the empty net. Argentina 2, England 0. The goal of the century. Victor Hugo Morales, on Argentine radio, screams the call into immortality. Barillete cosmico. Cosmic kite. What planet are you from? The answer in that moment is not Earth. Lineker scores in the 81st minute, his 6th of the tournament, heading in at the far post. England push. Argentina survive. Final whistle. Argentina 2. England 1. So what? The two goals can't be separated. That is the genius of the story. If Maradona only scores the hand of God, he's a cheat. If he only scores the goal of the century, he's a genius. But because he scores both 4 minutes apart, he becomes Maradona in full. Football has never known what to do with that. It wants morality clean. Maradona refuses cleanliness. Argentina go on to win the World Cup. They beat Belgium 2-0 in the semi-final, Maradona scoring twice again. Then West Germany in the final. Argentina lead 2-0. Germany come back to 2-2. Of course they do. Then Maradona, tightly marked and physically exhausted, still finds the pass to Burruchaga. Argentina 3, West Germany 2. World champions. Maradona wins the Golden Ball, not because he was part of the best team, but because he was the tournament's controlling force. This is maybe the greatest individual World Cup ever played. The England match becomes the eternal image. For Argentina, the hand of God is not simply fraud. Many Argentines understood it through politics, class, colonial memory, and the Falklands wound. The small man from the poor country outwits the big English goalkeeper. The hand becomes revenge, mischief, and survival. That doesn't make it legal, but it explains why it was loved. For England, it remains theft, a violation, a referee's failure, and then, cruelly, it is followed by a goal so magnificent that even anger has to share space with awe. The image endure because they argue with each other. The handball still image, Shilton's raised arms, Maradona's fist, the ball above them. And the slalom, blue shirts chasing, England players falling away, Shilton beaten. One photograph says scandal, the other says genius. Together, they say Diego. And the aftermath doesn't soften him. At Napoli, he wins the 1987 Scudetto, then another in 1990, plus UEFA Cup. Naples becomes his kingdom. I talk about that in episode 191. Very much worth a listen. At the 1990 World Cup, he drags Argentina to another final, this time through pain, rather than beauty. Then the fall. Drugs, bans, exit, return. USA 94. The wild-eyed celebration. Another positive test. Another exile. Maradona never becomes safe, but 1986 protects him forever. Whatever came after, he has stood at the top of football and looked larger than the sport itself. England's story continues too. 1990 brings Gazza's tears. 98 brings Owen's wonder goal, Beckham's red card, and another Argentina trauma. 2002 brings Beckham's penalty revenge. The rivalry keeps producing theatre, but nothing equals June 22nd, 1986. Because this was not just Argentina beating England. It was one player compressing history, politics, genius, injustice, and joy into 4 minutes. Before we go, 3 things to take away from June 22nd, 1986. First, the match was never only a match. It carried 1966, the Falklands, England's old football arrogance, and Argentina's need for symbolic revenge. Second, Maradona's 2 goals define him because they contradict each other. One is legal, one is immortal. Together they reveal the full uncomfortable truth of his greatness. Third, 1986 is the tournament that puts Maradona on the top shelf, not next to the World Cup, but holding it, owning it, bending it around himself. On this day in 1986, Diego Maradona scored the hand of God and the goal of the century 4 minutes apart. Argentina beat England 2-1 at the Azteca, and football received its most perfect portrait of genius with a shadow. That is all for episode 234 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history, by 17 Lost Guy. I have a favor to ask of you. Once you've done listening, and if you haven't done it already, please rate the show 5 stars. The algorithm will then find it and push OTD in front of more people. And, just like Jorge, if you have an idea for the show, my email is otd@17lawsguy.com. Tomorrow, we go to June 28, 1998, when Brazil, of all teams, gave up a late lead and lost to Norway at the World Cup. Brazil 1, Norway 2, and one of the strangest little upsets of France 98. See you then.